easily defended. It's not near his main forces. He may have trouble defending it if the Protoss see it with some air units or some other mobile abilities. But right now, the Zerg player has the Protoss player bottled up so badly, there's really not a lot the Protoss player can do to get over there. You see he's got some Stalkers in play. These are on the high ground. He's using the advantage of the cliffs to really wail down at these units. Now, the Roaches have a little bit of range, but in StarCraft 2, you can't shoot what you can't see, and you can't see up cliffs anymore. So he was forced to run away from that battle until he can get some overlords or some other aerial detection in play so he can spot what's going on the high ground.
Now we see Yellow going for a few more gateways. He is going to be producing a ton of units here. These two currently aren't working yet because he hasn't assigned anything to them. Over on the production menu to see what he's going to be working on. He only has those gateways in play. He really needs to get some more units on the field. Oh, but he is researching Warp Gate. Let's hear about that.
Yeah, so Warp Gate's a very powerful new ability. It allows you to warp in units anywhere you've got pylon power. You can really use this to make great defensive moves. It also produces a production speed bonus. So using warping is more efficient than using regular gateways. It'll really allow him to put a lot of troops on the field. And now that he's got that expansion, he will have the resources to make use of those warp gates and really start spawning a large number of Protoss troops.
Now, but we're not sure if it's going to be able to keep up with the production of the Zerg with all of the bases that he currently has. Wow, the Zerglings just took out that probe, no problem. Now Yellow has no idea what's going on in Sanki's base. He is unable to scout the rest of the map because Sanki's just able to keep him holed in.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like the Zerg continue the containment strategy, and this is looking really rough for the Protoss player. He's definitely doing pretty well. He's got a large force on the battlefield. He's got some expansions, but he really needs to push out there if he wants to hope to win this battle. You can see how bottled up he is, how trapped he is. Meanwhile, the Zerg have expanded not once but twice, and they're continuing to own the middle of the map, killing every scout that comes out, trying to see what's going on because he just can't get out to see what's happening.
Wow, and now we can see that Sanki obviously is feeling pressured by all of these units up on the cliff. So we do see him building his spire up back in his main base.
Yeah, this is going to give him the aerial mobility that will allow him to strike at the Protoss directly, being able to strike at the home. You can see both players on our army menu there have fairly equal-sized forces, so really there's no advantage. The advantage in this kind of battle would go to the person with the terrain or the proper counters. And I would say right now, if the Zerg tries to push in, he's going to be in a lot of trouble against the Protoss. So he's going to keep dancing around, looking for a chance to get on some high ground, to get some aerial units and really do some damage.
Ooh, and we're likely going to see a bloody battle out here. Yellow now has a ton of units in play, and he even has blink research, so we're likely going to see some mad kiting out of Yellow.
Yeah, this is a very powerful ability, especially against the Zerg, who have some trouble sort of catching those blinking units. And you can see the Protoss players pushing in. The Zerg player is forced to back up here against this very powerful Protoss army that's knocking right at his front door.
So right now, Yellow's just trying to contain Sanki because he's obviously just been owning the center of the map. Wow, and here we have an Overlord getting taken out by Yellow, so we don't see any more base. Now, Sanki did see that Overlord getting attacked by all the Stalkers, so as soon as that army went away, he was going to try to flank him, but likely Yellow just turned right around. There we have the Archons.
Here comes the real danger for the Zerg. The Archons are in play. Neither player's been able to gain the advantage, but this looks really bad for the Zerg. Those Archons can do terrible, terrible damage to those Zerglings, and it looks like the Zerg knows that he's trying to get away from the fight. Oh, there's the blink, trying to catch up with the Zerg, doing some additional damage. The Archons are leading the charge into the Zerg base.
Well, those Archons are going to prove to be great meat shields. We have them focusing down those rushes, looking like Yellow does know how fast they can regenerate, but you see those Stalkers laying down a ton of damage. Those Zerglings are trying to get in there, but they just can't. They're stuck behind all the rushes. Do you see a couple Mutalisks in play? Are they going to be able to turn the tide?
It looks like the Protoss player is trying to back up, trying to do a little bit of damage. He's moving away from the fight a little bit, using his blink, moving his wounded units out of the battlefield. You can see how powerful it is. Every time a unit gets too hurt, he moves it away from the Roaches, and he's just tearing them to pieces. What great micro. He missed one, but he's gotten so many.
Wow.
Oh, wow, look how damaged that one was. He got it out just in time, moving it away, doing terrible damage to this Zerg force.
That is excellent micro use of blink on those Stalkers. That was an amazing play by Yellow. He is going to have to retreat because the Zerg player has now just been able to completely outproduce him. That was
what a great move by the Protoss player. He really got a lot of damage out of that battle. He really did a lot more than anybody thought he could have done. And you can see he's still feeling pretty frisky about it. He thinks he's still got the advantage, and he's going to move in. Oh, what a surprise play. Went in and took out that queen in one volley. All gone queen. And now he's sort of picking away at the Zerg, tearing away at their Zerglings, and he continues to pressure in to this very, very under-siege Zerg base.
Oh, this is not looking good for Sanki. He's able to push all the way into Sanki's natural. We do see one Mutalisk actually trying to get back in there. He does have a few Roaches getting built over on the production menu. He's going to need to be pumping out units as fast as possible to stop these Stalkers. Likely he is going to be putting a bunch of Zerglings into play because this is important. They are a very good counter to Stalkers, but Yellow is just so good at controlling that blink.
What an amazing move. He's really mastered that. There's a few short hours. He's had to test out this alpha build. He's really learned very quickly how to make that blink work for him, and it looks like he's going to get a hatchery out of it, and he's going to move it. another great use of
wow.
Blink, able to move in very quickly and prevent any of those workers who might have thought of running. You can see that the Zerg base is spawning some creatures out of those buildings die, but it's not enough to deal with the Archon, and it's not enough to deal with this massive force of Protoss right in the middle of the Zerg base.
So again, Sanki's getting pressured very hard. We do have a ton more Stalkers getting brought into play.
Oh, no.
Oh.
They're all over him. He's just tearing him to pieces. He's going to keep hitting him until the candy comes out. He's got him on the ground here, and he's just beating him again and again. He spawned some other Mutalisks from that other expansion, but that's not going to be enough to deal with all of those Stalkers and that great, great micro.
Wow, and now in terms of units, we can see up there that Sanki's army is vastly inferior to Yellow's, having only 11 Zerglings on the battlefield versus 25 Stalkers.
Yeah, I don't really see what the Zerg player can do at this point. He's really got his back to the wall. He's really just getting torn to pieces. It's really, really a bold for the Zerg player to hang in the game this long. He must be hoping these other expansions will be able to keep him in the game somehow, but it looks really, really bad.
Wow, we do have a few units being brought across the field, but those Zerglings are not going to be enough. We're just watching some mass carnage up in Sanki's main base. Now, one of the differences that you may or may not have noticed in StarCraft 2 is that Broodlings actually jump right out of any destroyed Zerg buildings.
Right, they're very, very lightly armored, and they do time out very quickly. They have a very limited lifespan before they die, but they sometimes can make a small difference. You can see with that massive Protoss force, this time it didn't make a difference. He's running with the Spine Crawler, very slow off the creep, much faster when it's on the creep, and it's running for its life, trying to get away. And it looks like the Protoss player has missed it completely. A little bit of comedy here at the end for the Zerg player as he's trying to keep himself in this game.
So right now, because Yellow has been stuck in his base for such a large portion of the game, he has no idea where Sanki is. He probably has no clue that he has anything else anywhere on the map because he hasn't been able to scout.
Yeah, and it looks like the Zerg player is falling back. Even his base defenses are running for their lives. But it looks like the Protoss has seen what's going on, and he is moving into the map here, owning the middle of the map, and he is going right after that poor Spine Crawler. Run!
No!
Run! You can make it! Oh, he couldn't make it.
And down goes the Spine Crawler. It does only have 100 HP when it's brought out of the ground to move around, which makes sense. And now we have a ton of Stalkers getting moved over. It's looking like the Zerglings led that Protoss army directly into Sanki's later expansion.
Yeah, what a brave, brave battle the Zerg have given us today. Really struggling against all possible odds, but you can see they're just being overwhelmed by this incredibly mobile, incredibly versatile Stalker force used by such a strong player who can make great use of them. Oh, here comes some Banelings. Oh, that's not a great unit against the Stalkers. It's really much more powerful against Zerglings, and there's the GG.
Wow, what a good game between those two players. You could really see how Yellow's microing StarCraft 2 skills absolutely carried over. All right, so how about a big round of applause for Yellow for winning that first LT match?
So Yellow picks up the first matchup. We're going to have Rob go ahead and create the second map. And what is that map going to be?
We're going to be playing on New Antioch.
All right, anything in particular you guys want to say about this map before we actually